The Republican Party's narrow win in the House is poised to transform the agenda in Washington. This will empower GOP lawmakers to pursue conservative goals and challenge the policies of President Joe Biden. Republicans have made it clear that the top priority for their new majority is investigations into the US president's son, Hunter Biden. According to Republican lawmakers, the inquiry would focus on overseas business dealings of Hunter Biden. He's already under federal investigation, but so far has not faced any charges. Apart from this, other GOP priorities like border security, defunding the IRS are also expected to be on the fast tracks. But according to top Republicans, US President Joe Biden is also involved in his son's business dealings, including his term as the vice president during Obama's office.
Whistleblowers describe President Biden as chairman of the board for these businesses. He personally participated in meetings and phone calls. Documents show that he was a partner with access to an office. To be clear, Joe Biden is the big guy. This evidence raises troubling questions about whether President Biden is a national security risk and about whether he is compromised by foreign governments.
But after the not-so-fruitful midterms for the Republicans, they are still without a decisive mandate from voters. And this complicates plans to aggressively take on the Biden administration. However, Joe Biden has said he's never spoken to his son about his foreign business. And until now, there are no indications that the federal investigation involves the president in any way. Well, we're going to turn to Susan Turani, who's still live for us in New York City, to get more on this. Susan, investigations clearly going to be the priority for the Republicans. How do you see all of this playing out?
Yeah, so the soundbite that we played was from Representative James Comer. He's the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, and he will likely chair this panel for the GOP majority. He's long been preparing for this hearing on Hunter Biden. He made clear that this is not a Hunter Biden hearing and investigation. It's regarding the President of the United States, Joe Biden. And this is just a small percentage of the investigation that the Republican Party wants to carry out. They made clear that these investigations are to determine whether or not the President of the United States is a security risk and if he's compromised when he has interactions with world leaders, and that the American people have a right to know that. So they've been preparing for this for months. On the one hand. On the other hand, you know, when the opposing party takes control of the House, one of the things that they generally do is oversight, and investigations are not uncommon. So we will see not only this incident, but also the faulty withdrawal from Afghanistan. We've already seen the border crisis issue, and I think the Republicans said that they can walk and chew gum at the same time, while also setting up an agenda on how to reduce government spending and take care of other issues. But yes, they do have their hands full, but I think this was a priority from the very beginning, especially because they have this hard drive from Hunter Biden, and they want to get to the bottom of why 50 intelligence officials said that this laptop and this hard drive was quote unquote Russia misinformation, Russia intelligence, why the story was covered before the presidential elections in 2020. So, you know, there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of unknowns, and I think they feel like this is something that needs to be looked into.
Susan, thank you. That was Susan Turani joining us live from New York City. Well, I'm going to turn now to Rina Sharf, a political advisor and commentator and former Republican strategist, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Well, look, the Republicans making it clear that they want to investigate Joe Biden's son. It seems to be their top priority. What's your assessment of this decision to push ahead with investigations?
My sense is that coming out right out of the gate when they just won such a narrow majority in the House and announcing plans to investigate the president's son, that's not a good thing for the Republican parties. But for the Democrats, it actually makes them look better. It makes them look like the mature ones in the room, while Republicans are looking like they're petty and out for revenge.
Petty and out for revenge. I mean, we've heard the Republicans in the past say that if they had a strong majority in the new Congress, they would perhaps even go as far to start impeachment proceedings against the president. Only a razor-thin majority is what they've got. Do you see that this initial investigation could lead to even more serious investigations, potentially even into the president himself?
Well, I think any investigation that Republicans in the House to undertake will be very serious because they will be on the taxpayer dime. They will take some time. These investigations don't just start and finish in a matter of a month, for example. They go over the course of many weeks. They take significant staff time. I know that because I've worked for two U.S. House of Representatives members. And I can tell you that this kind of is a distraction from the regular everyday governing and policy making that requires the focus of members. Now, of course, Republican leadership is going to pick their most bombastic, their most sensational, almost actor-like types of members to be on these committees because what they feel Democrats did with the Select Committee on the January 6th attack that was formed last year and was broadcast in prime time to Americans, Republicans' number one gripe with that was that it was made for show, that it was a show trial. But I don't think that they would do anything differently. What they want to do is capture the hearts and minds of American people and convince them that the Biden family has engaged in some kind of wrongdoing and that the sitting president of the United States should not be in his post because he's somehow done something wrong. Now, this is very important. There's so far been no evidence of any wrongdoing by the president himself. There are talks of improprieties, inappropriate actions taken by the president's son, Hunter Biden. But again, nothing in a court of law. What the U.S. House of Representatives would do by starting these investigations are not criminal legal proceedings. They are simply proceedings that would investigate in order to make a referral to the Department of Justice, which is still controlled by Biden appointee Merrick Garland.
Rina Sharf, political advisor and commentator and former Republican strategist. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.